moving on with the survey, who is going to win the MVP award this season? I think all three of us would have the same answer.
Well, I know last time I was on the show with you guys, I said Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
I'm 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 on the same boat.
I think he set the table last year, got on the conscience of the public and the voters that he's here, what he's about, leading that team to the best record in the Western Conference last year, second round of the playoffs. So I think he's poised to take the next step. And
BJ,
if
do you
they
agree?
I know Shea Alexander, and I'm a huge fan. And I always try to. The fan in me wants Shea Alexander. I want Shea to win it. I do. Because I know how hard he works. I know him, his family. We work very closely with Shea. So I'm rooting for Shea. However, there's a part of me that's saying Jason Tatum has something to prove this year. He's got something. He's got something to really prove this year. Okay. After everything, how it happened, after him winning the championship, what happened over the summer, how many times, gentlemen, have we seen a player take that energy, whatever happened in the offseason or an all-star game,
Oh yeah.
and you see what happens? I think the table is really set for him to have that type of year because I don't think, normally when you come back, you start feeling good about yourself or you have the potential to start feeling good about yourself. He doesn't have that coming into the season.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the season coming where everyone's patting him on the back. I think he has something where I think the whole Boston Celtics team has something to come back and improve. Not improve. They have something to prove to everyone else outside of their locker room. And that's a good thing.
I hear
So
it.
I'm going to say Jason
But
Tatum.
I
Yeah,
think Jason Tatum,
it's an interesting thing though. I can't recall a time where a top player or players, in this case, both
First
he
team
and
all
Jaylen
NBA
Brown,
players,
for
Scott.
players,
First,
yeah. There were NBA champions. Now, obviously, this occurred because of the Olympic year, then goes to the Olympics. After all of that great feeling from finally getting over the hump, becoming a champion, then to go to the Olympics, yeah, they won the gold medal, but to have happened what happened to him, not even getting in a couple of those ball games, this is going to be a great case study to
but
see
but
because
but
I agree with you, BJ. I think he really will be motivated, as will Jaylen Brown be motivated for being
mm-hmm.
snubbed or being on the team outright in the first place.
But
So
you know what I think? I think there's two elements for this of why I don't think Tatum will win MVP. Number one, it's a media controlled award. And if you look at the quality of his team around him, they would rather give it to someone who has less help around them, help, so to speak, less high quality caliber teammates. But the other thing is, I don't think that Jason Tatum cares about the MVP the way that we care about Jason Tatum winning the MVP. As long as the Celtics are winning games, he's happy. Like from being around that team, they're focused on winning another championship. The individual awards, I don't know. But let me ask you guys this question. Who's a wild card for MVP? Because like the GMs have got 40% of them think Shea's going to win, 30% think Luka, and then Embiid, Jokic, and Tatum get 7% of the vote each. Giannis, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Edwards also received a couple of votes apiece. But have you got a wild card? But like last season, I said if Zion was healthy for the whole season, he could be in MVP conversation. Obviously, that didn't happen, and it was a ridiculous take. But have you got a wild card of someone that could come out of nowhere and win the MVP? Because I said earlier this year that Ja Morant could come back this season and maybe have his hat,
yeah,
throw his hat in the ring for MVP. Have you got
yeah.
a wild card?
He was that was as you were speaking. I that's what I was getting ready to say was Ja Morant coming off injury. If he can take his team that was in 12th place last year and finish in the top four in the Western Conference, that's a big achievement in itself, and it will be in large part due to his play. But I'll give you another name too, and I don't know that he is a wild card name, but you haven't mentioned him. He's not Doncic, he's not Jokic, he's not Shea, he's not
Brunson?
no Brunson. Now you're talking about being in New York. If he has the kind of year he had last year, he'll get some strong consideration. But if the Minnesota Timberwolves stay up at the top, and I think that just watching them a little bit early, Anthony Edwards, I'm gonna put him down there because You know, I am partial to two-way players, man. And this
No,
guy,
no, oh, don't get me started. I
what's
hate
that?
the term two-way player, right?
Why do you hate that term?
Why is it special to play defense? Like
Well, look,
everyone
you know
should be,
what?
if you're on the court, you should be a two-way player. Why do we live in a world where it's
Well,
okay
we
to be
do.
an MVP and not play
It,
defense? I hate it. Like,
it's in my book. It's not okay. But look, that's the world we live in. What is being, what we see that's being rewarded is offense. The guys with the gaudy offensive numbers
yep,
usually are your first team All
yep.
NBA guys and the guys being most considered for MVP.
BJ, have you got a wild
Anthony
card?
Edwards, yeah, but
Have
Anthony Edwards, he's great offensively, and he takes the challenge of wanting to guard the other team's best players on the perimeter. So,
I want to know if BJ is going all in with his wild card being Wembanyama, or if he's going to wait another year to do that.
that's yeah, that BJ. You didn't have to ask BJ that.
First things first, gentlemen. You know, I think we all, Mo heard me go, Scott, I went on for a week why Wembanyama wasn't an All-Star last year, right?
Why he wasn't?
A
Why
week,
he
you
wasn't?
still
Yeah,
talking about that. You
Yeah,
called me
why
and
he
talk
was-
about that in bloody October.
Yeah, when he wasn't named an All-Star last year, I was because I thought that was, you know, Mo, Scott knows, Mo knows, the audience, you know, who roll with us, they understand. You know, you got to protect the business. Wembanyama has to be in there. However, I'm not ready to put him in that because this year he has to get Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, we're going to make sure playoffs and Defensive Player of the Year. Now we're ready to roll. Now, but next year and for the next 10 years, Mo, don't even ask me who's going to win the MVP. It's going to be Wembanyama, so we can clear that up. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. But I agree with the list as is in the beginning of the season. I do think Jason Tatum. I'm rooting for Shea Alexander because he's put together two incredible seasons that could have been MVP. And I think Luka will be there. I think Luka, what he did last year, I think he has some momentum coming into the season. But you said wild card. And I'm sticking with my business theme today on today's show. Okay, this is a wild card. Roll with me. De'Aaron Fox
Oh, get out.
has some business to take care of.
We just went through the top 18
Hey,
and no one
you
said
said
Sacramento.
wild card. You said wow.
Okay,
That means
okay,
you
okay.
said wild card. You didn't say
okay.
You didn't say you said wild card. Now, I happen to really, really like this team. De'Aaron Fox got some unfinished business he needs to take care of this year. And De'Aaron Fox is a gamer. Now, I'm going to say this because I can only tell you what I see. De'Aaron Fox played exceptionally hard in the preseason. And I was like, I watched them one night versus the Utah Jazz. And I said, wow, this team is playing really hard in the preseason. You know, I was like, what's going
Shout
on?
out to Mike Brown.
Then they went on about a contract situation that he needs to do this year in order to be.
Yeah, he turned down the extension to wait for a bigger deal next summer.
Now,
Yeah. And if he makes All NBA, yeah, then he gets.
yeah. I'm just telling you what I saw. You know, you watching the game, and I'm just watching the game, and all of a sudden I saw a man playing in midseason 4, Scott, and I said, "Wait a minute, what's going on here?" And the whole team was present. Sabonis was present.
DeRozan was present. Mm-hmm.
And I said, "What is going on?" So I just started watching the game. And I said, when they said that, I said, I put that in the back of my mind. I was like, this team right here, they have something they need to do. That's a scary game because they didn't make the DeMar DeRozan situation to talk about rebuilding. Now, I didn't have them in the 8, but I'm telling you this right now, I will not be surprised if they are in the top 6.
Oh, no. Yeah, I agree.
I won't be surprised because I know this. They have 3 guys that I know can score in the last 4 minutes of a game. Sabonis, DeRozan, and De'Aaron Fox. And De'Aaron Fox is still one of the fastest players in the NBA. De'Aaron Fox will get you over 25 points a night. And if they do what they think they're going to do, which they have the capability to do it now. I mean, they still play fast, and no one's as fast as De'Aaron Fox. He's just as fast as anybody in this league. So he is my wild card to watch out that no one will be talking about. And Mo, he's got something to prove this year. Just like how you wove in Jimmy Butler, I'm gonna weave in De'Aaron Fox.
Contract years. Let's go.
No, De'Aaron Fox. Hey, I never bet on. When a man believes in himself, Scott, that's music to an agent ear, to his agent's ears.
And let me tell you something. I'm pulling for De'Aaron. He obviously,
yeah,
I was
I'm pulling
there when
for him. You drafted him.
I drafted him. You drafted.
Yes.
We drafted it. Yes, when I was there. So I'm been a De'Aaron Fox fan from the very beginning.
And I want to say this. I want to say this about Scott because I remember this conversation in the summer league of De'Aaron Fox's rookie year summer league. De'Aaron Fox wasn't going to play. It doesn't matter who. He wasn't going to play in the summer league. And I remember the GM of the team, Mr. Scott Perry, had a little conversation with him and said, "Wait a minute, wait a minute." And Mr. De'Aaron Fox came in and showed out during that game. Now,
no, absolutely.
I said then something was in this young man that I need to respect. So I know what's there. I have an unfair advantage of knowing what's in this kid. He's a great kid with exceptional talent, and he has a chance this year to put up one of those type of numbers where the media will get on board, because I don't think many people are going to have them, but he will be leading the charge this year. So he's my wild card.
No, but you definitely.
He's got to be in one of the top 15. He's got to be in the top 15 this year for obvious reasons.
Yes. No, that's for sure.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Let me ask you this. Which player is most likely to have a breakout season this season?
I'm breakout season.
I'm going Big Victor. Anything else, I'm going on Big Victor.
You can't be the number one pick and rookie of the year and then have a breakout. We all know what
we all have
a breakout season is someone you don't expect to become great, who becomes great without people thinking they would before the season.
Well, say that. You said a breakout season.
That's what breakout means.
Numbers. I'm expecting the big fella to give me. I'm expecting him to give me a game this year where we just got to talk about what he did. He's got to have a quadruple double. That's a breakout. Yes. You don't see that every day. That's breakout. We're
expecting him to have it. So it's
no. I'm not.
We've been talking about that since he got drafted, or even before he got drafted. We were talking about this guy's going to come to the NBA and have a quadruple double. Like, come on. Breakout is unexpected, an unexpected rise. Like last year, Kobe White out of nowhere. You see what I'm saying?
When you say out of nowhere, it's a tough question. I always struggle with that on that GM survey when you're talking about breakout season. But I'm going to take a player who I believe is poised to take the next step. Because I listened to my man BJ here about a month or two ago when I was on this podcast, and I believe with the new coach coming in, in the way they're going to utilize him, he's going to be positioned to become an all-star this year. And if he does, their team could cause some problems in the Eastern Conference. And that's Evan Mobley. I think that he has a chance to become a more consistent offensive threat this year. That's the breakout part for him. He's always been, pretty good defensively linked. We've seen all the potential. But this may be the year for him to be that consistent stalwart. With age, I'm sure he's gotten a little bit stronger. I haven't seen him physically. BJ, you've seen him, over the summer. I don't know how much weight he's picked up. But breakout from being a guy who in that draft class had, good potential. A lot of people believed he might end up being the best player out of that draft class. But I think this year he ascends up and becomes an all-star.
No. If you can talk about Mobley, keep going. I've got a couple different names.
No, that was it. No, you going to say something about Mobley? Yeah, that was Mobley would. He comes to mind for me.
So I got a couple names that were high draft picks as well, but because they've been on bad teams, I think people forget about them. BJ, you'll like the first one. I think Kay Cunningham this year. He's obviously had some injury issues to deal with before. I think this year he could remind everyone who he is.
Mo,
And then
Mo,
the other
Mo, you
one,
might be stepping into something, Mo.
the other one, Brandon Miller over in Charlotte. Because towards the end of last season, he showed some really great flashes. I think this season, he can really get going.
Ooh.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna leave it alone. We could talk about that off air. What Mo just said. Victor stands here for me, and there is another name that I have to throw out. I think Jalen Williams
OKC.
from OKC.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think I might have called Scott. I think I might have called Mo or Scott. I know I said
right.
Jalen Williams.
We
is
talked
ready
about
now.
this on the show a few weeks
did we?
ago,
Okay.
or a few days ago. Even.
Yeah. Now Jalen Williams is ready. He's playing now like a top 15 player. He's playing like an all NBA player in the preseason. And when I start seeing people play like that in the preseason, I go, oh, something's going on here. You know, there's a lot of people pretending to put in the work and posting the videos and all that in the summertime. Well, Jalen Williams is ready. Okay. He's going to be ready this year. And they put the ball in his hands, and I think he's going to deliver. So those are the two young players, I think. And I agree with yours, Scott, with Evan Mobley. However, I will say this about Evan Mobley. I've said it before, and I will say this. Evan Mobley is a center. And I think the young man is poised to have a breakout year when they fully commit to playing him at the center position. Mm-hmm. I think that's where he's most comfortable, is he is a center, especially in today's game. But as you know, I'm a massive Evan Mobley fan. I remember talking about him in the draft like it was yesterday, and I still think he will be the best player in that draft.
And Mo, you know what factors when you talk about breakout player, I need that breakout player to impact winning. Those two names you brought. Those two names, exactly. So that's only those guys have talent, but they're in situations I don't know they're going to be able to win. Exactly, and so